Welcome to the question and responses for pooping 3 times a day. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel. It's going to help us grow and spread this vital life-saving information. Now let's get into the questions. And question 1 from Robin Trelly. I work three nights. I work nights 3 to 4 per week. Any suggestions? Yeah, increase your omega-3s. That's going to be huge. Increase your minerals. Absolutely. And look at our sleep restriction videos. I've got a huge number of patients that are truckers, flight attendants, airline pilots, people that work in different time zones. I get patients from all around the world that have that kind of challenge. And to adapt to that, make sure you wear nightshades when you're sleeping so that the light isn't going to negatively affect you, because your body goes through these 90-minute cycles called rapid eye movement. When you complete that cycle, and that's the maximum healing that your body is getting during sleep. So you got to wear nightshades, take out the auditory influence with white noise, maximize your nutrient intake, make sure that you prepare your mind for sleep by journaling and reading. Look at all of our sleep restriction videos. But that is a big challenge because we are not designed to work at night. The reason they talk about the graveyard shift is not because they worked at the graveyard, but that people that work at night, people that work with not working within their natural circadian rhythm cycles, because we are an animal species living on this planet, and working nights is a big challenge. If you don't get that chance to rest at night, you're going to have to adapt as best as you can. And I know that some people's jobs, you're working in different time zones, and I'm very familiar with that. I travel to Asia 3 times a year, so I'm constantly interrupting my circadian rhythm cycle, and you're able to do that by getting appropriate nutrients and living with that time zone where you are then. And so you will be able to adapt, but just make sure, understand that this is going to be a challenging adaptive response. And you can survive in that aspect. Question 2 from Spandel 100. So rebounding is an all-body exercise that helps shake things up among many other things. Benefits Dr. Berg. Dr. Berg's one doc. I'm Dr. Bergman. He's also a chiropractor, and I love his stuff too. Oh, rebounding is amazing. And when you think about it, not only does it help balance, and this is why I have rebounders in my clinics, but when you're bouncing up and down, you're changing that input into the brain so it helps you adapt. So neurologically, fantastic. But also when you're going in that compressive force load and decompressive force load, this helps lymph flow and lymph. You've got 4 times the amount of lymph in the human body than you do blood. And blood's got a pump. It's got the pump initiator to the heart, and then all the arteries constrict and dilate. That helps the blood flow. Lymph gets its flow through movement. So this is fantastic for lymph flow and also for bone production. You've got cells that live on the bones called osteoblast and osteoclast, and that causes a buildup and breakdown of bone based on stress level. So you're increasing and decreasing the force loading, so it helps with bone production, lymph production, and neurologic functions. This is why we have people doing certain movements while they're doing it. But also, there's a lot of people that we first have to build up to where they can utilize the rebounder. But rebounding, man, big fan of. Question 3 from Christopher Dietrich. Oh, while you're here, I got to know. Okay, I heard you mention the vagus nerve and in this video about pooping. So I initially asked, why does it feel so good after taking a huge dump? I didn't think my GI doctor, I think it was my GI doctor. They told me it was the vagus nerve, but didn't really explain. So once I beseech thee, what's going on with my body? I swear it feels a lot like a hit of cocaine to the brain, and it's so obvious the way certain chemical reactions in my brain make me feel invincible. I'm with you. You are absolutely right. Best description ever. Now, the vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve. It actually extends to the top portion of the neck. So if there is any cervical problem, then absolutely that vagus nerve can be affected. Then it goes in the front and back of the esophagus all the way down. Now, the vagus nerve is part of the parasympathetic. It functions everything in the gut. You're talking motility and excretion, everything. It's amazing, but that's only 10% of its function. 90% of the vagus nerve is sensory to constantly tell you what's going on with that gut. And the gut is so much more important than digestion. You're looking at 80 to 90% of your immune system. It's literally called the gut brain in the enteric brain. And when you have a good poop, a good bowel movement, you are getting that parasympathetic, that rest, digest, and repair. Anything you do to that gut is going to alter that parasympathetic supply. And good gut function, good healthy bowel movements are going to be amazing. Plus, if you're a man, you've got the rectum right behind the prostate. So good stool formation also massages the prostate. So this is absolutely essential for good prostate function, and you're allowing that parasympathetic activity to occur. But also look at where that vagus nerve is. It extends the top portion of the neck. So any cervical traumas can negatively affect that function. But you were right. My oldest boy, because me and my wife will say, yeah, Johnny, honey, had a really good poop. And I say, great, babe. But Michael always has to have his earmuffs on. He doesn't want to hear about our pooping. But you're right. Good poop. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Question 4 from Safe V. All my life, from infancy, bowel movements only once a week. And shockingly, I'm never uncomfortable at all. It's not shocking. Okay. One bowel movement a week is absolute a stressed state. And we can get used to chronic states of stress. And your automatic nervous system, autonomic, has 2 switches: sympathetic, which means stress; parasympathetic is rest, digesting, and repairing. So that means that your ability to rest, digest, and regenerate and repair could be limited. So you have to look at physical, chemical, and emotional stressors. The brilliance and also the problem with human beings is we can adapt to chronic states of stress. And if you have physical, chemical, emotional stress all day long, your body is going to adapt to that. So that means your regeneration ability is going to be suppressed, but your survivability is going to be active. So you can survive day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out with chronic states of stress. Eventually, it will catch up to you. So look at sleep patterns. If you're sleeping through the night, waking up refreshed with energy, fantastic. If when you go to sleep, you get up 3 or 4 times during the night to pee, or you have to roll over because you're uncomfortable, that's poor sleep patterns, and that's poor regeneration. If you look at bowel function, that's why we say 2 to 3 healthy bowel movements a day. That's normal. If you're once a week, that's not normal. It means that there is some kind of stressor. And we've got physical stress. So look at your pelvic area and look at your foot. If your big toe is leaning towards the other toes, that means that the nerves that come out of the sacrum and base of the lumbar that supply that foot could be compromised, and that's distorting the foot. So the foot distortions are a good indication of pelvic and lumbar issues, and that pelvis houses half of the ability to rest, digest, and repair. So look at a mechanical distortion for sure. Look at the physical stressors too. You could do a live blood cell analysis, and in normal healthy individuals, the cells, red blood cells, have an electronegative charge. They can separate. In a chronic state of stress, they start to overlap because of the low stomach acid. You can look at all these different types of stressors, but have somebody that can measure autonomic nervous system. That's what we do at all of our clinics. We measure the live blood cell analysis at all of our clinics, and then we look at literally your physiology. Are you sleeping good, pooping good, thinking good? And then you look at all of those aspects, then you're going to find out, because what you're talking about is that there could be an underlying chronic stress state. And absolutely. Question 5 from Britannica. For someone that can't find a good chiropractor, what are things that can be done from home to help the spine and correct posture? Any types of exercises or anything like that? I heard crawling could be beneficial. Absolutely. check out our adaptive physiology site. And we have so many videos on how to change sitting into therapy, where you can use a water bottle. We give a round foam roll where it's placed at the bottom of the elbow is the bottom of the roll. 20 minutes in, 10 minutes out, the whole time you're sitting, to turn sitting into therapy. We have multiple cervical exercises that we give a little tiny foam roll that isolates the neck so you can start to restore the biomechanics, because all these joints get their nutrients through movement. And if you've had a past trauma, you're talking alternate movement, and that can decrease the nutrients to those joints, lead to discompression. So look at our cervical health video. Absolutely. Look at our pelvic health video. And the pelvic health video is amazing because we talk about sitting. We talk about biomechanics of the calf. We talk about cross crawl exercises by swinging the legs. We talk about looking at biomechanics for when you're walking, make sure both your arms are swinging correctly. We talk about changing your sleep patterns, and all of this stuff chiropractors should be teaching their patients. But unfortunately, they're not. So you've got to look at changing sitting, getting that neck curve back, looking at cross-crawl activities, restoring the biomechanics of the foot, the stabilizing the pelvis, look at the biomechanics of the knee, look at the muscle balance of the forearm. When we talk about carpal tunnel, we give a simple number 32 rubber band to restore that muscle balance of the forearm, which should be a 5-to-4 ratio, flexors versus extensors. And we talk about how restoring the neck curve is essential in rotator cuff problems, carpal tunnel, muscle imbalance of the forearms. So there is a lot of stuff you can do. Check out that adaptive physiology site, and we have all those exercises there, because I know we've got a list of 7 questions. Does a chiropractor take an x-ray? Good. Do you take another x-ray to show that you fixed the problems you found on the first one? Basic. Tons of stuff you can do. And we teach everyone how to change their emotional state. That's something you can do. To reprogram the brain, how to heal the gut. That's something you can do. Sleep patterns. That's something you can do. And all the biomechanical symmetrical exercises of changing sitting and neck. There is a ton of stuff you can do. Great question. Great question. If your question wasn't answered here, because we still have to do censorship, please go to the drbvip.com site. That's drbvip.com. And there we can answer freely. But God bless you. These were fantastic questions. Stay healthy, my friends. The world was built for you, and you were built for the world.